All right, let's talk about something that I know is a huge deal for early childhood educators, especially if you're a student trying to figure all this out. We all know how easy it is to fall back on simple themes like fall or transportation. But today, we're going to get into how you can build something way deeper, way more meaningful, all with one really cool tool, the Inquiry Web. So let's just start with the big question, right? How in the world do you build an entire curriculum from just one single thing a child says? A kid asks, where do birds go when it rains? And you see that little spark. How do you take that tiny spark and turn it into this big, roaring fire that can warm up your whole curriculum for weeks, maybe even months? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. Now, before you start thinking this is some massive, scary assignment, let's just reframe it. We're not building a rigid plan here. Think of it more like creating a projection. It's called that because you're looking forward. You're imagining all the amazing places the learning could go. It's kind of like your best guess, a totally safe space for you to practice, to explore, and really grow as an educator.
And here's the motto that's going to guide us through this whole thing. I absolutely love this. In order to be an educator, you have to get educated. This is so key. A really great project isn't just about what the kids are learning, it's about your learning journey too. What you discover is the foundation for everything else.
So here's a quick look at where we're headed. First, we'll talk about getting beyond those simple themes. Then we'll tap into the magic of starting with what kids are actually wondering about. After that, we'll cover how you become the lead investigator. And then the main event, weaving your inquiry web. And finally, we'll hand it over to you.
Okay, so let's dig into that first piece. Section 1, Beyond the Theme.
This slide just nails the difference, doesn't it? A theme, let's say apples, might just be, some apple stamping art, maybe a song. It's pretty surface level. But a project is a deep, meaningful investigation. The kids are asking the real questions. Where do apples even come from? What's actually inside them? How do they grow? It's the difference between looking at a postcard of a place and actually going on the trip.
So, if we're ditching the simple themes, where do we start? Well, that brings us right to Section 2. Start with their wonder.
The good news is, the process itself is actually pretty straightforward. It really just boils down to these 3 key steps. First, you've got to choose the right topic. Second, you do your homework, you get educated. And third, you build the web that's going to guide the whole exploration. It's a really logical flow that just sets everybody up for success.
Okay, now listen up, because this right here, this is the most important rule of this entire process. The topic must, and I really can't say this loudly enough, it must come from the children's genuine interests. This is not about what you think is cool or some cute idea you saw on Pinterest. It's about being a detective, observing them. What are they actually talking about? What are they playing with? What questions are they asking right now? That right there is your gold.
Of course, not every single interest is going to work for a long-term project. A really strong topic has a few things going for it. First, obviously, it has to be something they are truly excited about. But it also has to give you real opportunities for hands-on exploring. You're looking for that sweet spot, right? It's got to be broad enough to last for a while, but also focused enough so that the learning is truly meaningful.
Okay, so you've been watching, you've been listening, and you found a topic, sparked by the kids, that feels like it has real potential. So what's next? Well, now it's your turn. You become the investigator.
And this is where we bring our motto right back to the front. In order to be an educator, you have to get educated. This is you putting that into action. Before you can really guide the kids, you have to build up your own knowledge base. You need to become the go-to expert on this topic, at least for your classroom.
So let's go back to that birds idea. Your research isn't just a quick search for bird facts. No, you're digging deeper. You're asking things like, what are the specific migration patterns of birds right here in our area? What kind of materials do they use to build their nests? What predators do they need to watch out for? This is the kind of background knowledge that lets you ask really smart questions and help the kids think in new ways.
So once you've done your homework and you're feeling pretty confident in the topic, you are ready to build the main tool for this whole project. Let's get into Section 4, Weaving Your Inquiry Web.
So what exactly is an inquiry web? Honestly, think of it like your mission control, your project's command center. It's a visual way to get everything out of your head and onto paper. What you know, what you're still wondering about, and all the different directions you could possibly go with the children.
The way it's built is so simple but so effective. You stick your main topic right in the middle, and then you draw branches coming out from it with open-ended questions. And that phrase, open-ended, is the secret sauce here. These aren't yes or no questions, they're invitations.
They are questions that you are going to help the children answer for themselves. Let's look at a couple of examples. This one here has eggs right in the center. See how the questions branch out? You've got biology questions like, what are the parts of an egg? You've got animal behavior, what animals lay eggs, and life cycles, what happens after an egg is laid. Every single one of those is a doorway to a new investigation. Here's another one on flowers that I love because it goes a little bit further. You can see the teacher here hasn't just written down questions like, how do flowers grow? They've also started jotting down ideas for activities and even some of their own research notes. This is a perfect example of how your work, getting educated, makes the whole project richer from the get-go.
And his farm-to-table web shows you just how powerful this tool can be, even for really complex topics. The questions here are all about systems, right? How does food get to the store? Or how do we know when food is ready to pick? A web like this is such a great way to help kids see that bigger picture and understand how all these different pieces fit together.
So we've gone over the what and the how, and now for what's really the most important part, making this real for you. Let's jump into our last section, your turn to explore.
Look, if you take away one thing about the web itself, let it be this. It is not a rigid plan. It is not a checklist you have to get through. It is a map for the start of an adventure. The real magic happens when you're willing to follow the kid's lead, even when it veers off your beautiful map. Some of the most amazing discoveries are going to happen on those detours you never, ever planned for.
And so I want to leave you with this one question to take back with you. Just for a minute, put the lesson plans away and just listen. What are the children in your classroom, or the classroom you hope to have one day, what are they truly wondering about right now? Because the answer to that question, that's the beginning of your next great adventure.